Best-selling author Michael Solomon is challenging Americans to show up every day, not just on Election Day. In his latest book, Where Did My America Go? Michael has appeared as a guest analyst on Fox News and over 90 other radio and TV talk shows. He currently hosts his own radio program on AM 1340 WPBR in West Palm Beach, Florida. Through his witty pundit and serious political discussions, Michael Solomon's insight and opinions leave audiences entertained, outraged, and begging for more. Contact Michael Solomon today. Go online to michaelsolomonbooks.com. That's michaelsolomonbooks.com.
I am glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's nice being here. It was a harrowing trip getting here, I must tell you. It was difficult. I'll tell you why. I flew into Newark, which is now known as Liberty International Airport, and somewhere around Philadelphia, the pilot got on the intercom and he said, we don't have flak jackets, so anybody grab your laptop, put it on the seat under yourself. And I said, okay, and then he corkscrewed down to Liberty, and the next thing I knew is we were running for the tarmac like crazy. The snipers were all over the airport. So luckily, I got here by the skin of my teeth. I just want to let you know that. So it's been a harrowing experience. And I'm going to put that in my memoirs. If I ever run for president, I want to put that down there. But I really want to thank everybody for coming this evening. I really do. I want to tell you about my last presentation. I was speaking to a group. Supposed to be about 2,000 people, big auditorium, and I got out on stage. It was about 10 minutes, they waited a few more minutes, and I got out on stage, and I looked out in the audience, and here I am, all by myself, and there's one seat right there. There's one person sitting in one seat, and I'm looking, I'm saying, my God, well, what am I going to do? It's a motivational speak. They're paying me $4,000 for 45 minutes, so I spoke, and the gentleman got up, he even gave me a standing ovation when it was over, and I said, thank you very much. I said, do you have any questions? He says, no, I understood everything you said. I said, that's great. So I said, well, thank you very much. I get off the stage, and I'm walking up the aisle, the guy's yelling at me. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm finished, it's over, I got a plane to catch. He says, no, stay, I'm the next speaker. So that's usually what happens. I love George Burns. Everybody here love George Burns? George Burns had some great one-liners, and I'll tell you the best one that I like. The one I like is that George Burns once said that a great speech has a great beginning and a great ending, and you keep them real close together. So hopefully we'll try to do that tonight. The opening quote in my book is again by George Burns, and it says, how come all the people who really know how to run this country are busy driving taxis and cutting hair? And if you've ever gotten to a cab in New York or you sat in the beauty salon, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's got the answer. Political correctness is no longer a plea for equality. Instead, it's become a tool for the greedy to gain more money, more influence, more power. And unfortunately, the courts are really condoning this farce, and I mean it's a farce. It gets out of hand. We're creating a generation of losers, believe it or not, with the current view that children are all winners. We can't lose anymore. In schools, we can't lose. What happens in schools? There's a new edict now. You can't say a child's failed. He's temporarily academically deficient. You're laughing. Go on the internet. It's there. The NEA says it. The latest thing now, it just came out 2 weeks ago. They've got a new thing they want. You cannot mark a child's answers wrong on a test anymore. If a child has 100 questions on a test and he gets 60 right, you're not to mark the wrong answers. You're only to mark the right answers. Frightening. Purple is the new color. You think I'm kidding? Go on the internet, Google the purple pen and see what comes up. They want to use purple now as the new color to mark students wrong because they've done a $50 million study between, I think, Harvard and UCLA and a few more colleges to determine that purple is the softer, gentler color. Well, why does red stand for failure? Red is harsh because of what it stood for. It got that way. How long is it going to take purple to stand for failure? 5 years, 10 years, we're going to spend another $50 million in tax money to change it to yellow or blue? I mean, it's out of control. So I looked at this and I studied it and I says, wait a minute, maybe they got something here. We've got a cure for road rage. Just change all the red lights to purple, right? That's all we have to do. We can cure road rage. We don't have a problem. Think about this. Children today in school are allowed to take an exam 2 or 3 times the same exam. If a child has a little learning disability, which most of us had growing up, I had one, I'll tell you about that in a minute, they can give them 2 hours to take a 20-minute quiz, but that's okay, I don't have a problem. The problem you've got in schools today is, God forbid you hugged a child. I don't care who it was, whether it was a male teacher hugging a male child or a female, and God forbid it was the opposite sex. You got a male teacher in school today that hugs a female child. Boy, he better have a good lawyer behind him. Give you an example of what's happening with political correctness. Needham, Massachusetts, high schools did away with the honor roll. Everybody's equal. Everybody's equal. That's ridiculous. I do a talk radio show out of West Palm Beach 3 days a week. You can listen to it up here on the internet, on my website. And somebody called me the other day, he says, everybody has to be equal. I says, why? He says, we got to distribute wealth, everybody's got to be equal. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, if everybody in America had the same balance in their bank accounts, and everybody, no matter what they did for a living, from the president on down to a janitor, earned the same money every hour, by 5 o'clock close of business tomorrow, nobody would be equal anymore. He said, how can you say that? I says, because you're a spender, and I may take my money and invest it and save it. I may make more money at the end of the day than you've earned all day long. So by the end of the day, you're going to turn to me and say, oh, wait a minute, you made money today. That's not fair. You got to give me some tomorrow to bring my account balance up. It's not going to happen. The more equal we are, the less equal we'll ever be. So what's it created? It's created labeling. Now, there is a group out there called the Michigan Law Abuse Watch. You can go on the internet. It's m-law.com, if you're familiar with them. And they have a contest every year called the Wacky Warning Label Law. And they really do. It's amazing. I'll give you an idea of some of their wacky warning labels. Steam and dry iron made by Rowanta. On the box, it says, do not iron clothes while wearing. Now this, you're laughing. Go look. Next time you're in one of those next time you're in a store, take a look. Gets better. That lawsuit arose out of an NFL player who tried to iron his jersey during halftime while he was wearing it. But 2 years ago, there was a package that was picked up in a costume shop before Halloween. It was a Superman costume, and on the box it says, warning, the wearing of this costume does not enable the wearer to fly. You're laughing, but it's on there. And the best one, and the reason I know this one is my daughter was in it, when my daughter was in the juvenile furniture business, she used to laugh at this. The winner for 2007 was, you know Kraco, they make strollers? Okay, they've got a warning label on the back of their stroller. It's not on paper, it's not on a tag, it's sewn right on there. It says, warning, remove child before folding stroller. Well, global warming is scientific fact, and it happens every 40 years. It gets hotter, it gets colder. In the 1970s, we were worried about global freezing. The glaciers were getting thicker and getting crazy, okay? Global warming, which is supposedly man-made global warming, so he claims, is conjecture. It's theory, it's hypothesis. It's never been proven. As a matter of fact, last week, 19,000 notable scientists around the world signed a letter saying that man is not responsible for global warming. And you know what? We want to have equality. We want to have distribution of wealth in this country. Let's start in Hollywood. Why not? Let's start with the sports figures. It's out of hand. We're a democracy. We're trying to be a democracy. We're really a republic. The difference is very simple. If you were chasing down a cattle rustler and you had 10 guys chasing him and they decided to string him up in a tree because they voted to hang him, that would be a democracy. If they tied him up and brought him back to town to stand trial, that's a republic. So we're really a republic. The whole problem out there is that the world is laughing at us. And if we don't change our attitude and change what's going on, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. During the Roman Empire, if a citizen of Rome was traveling outside of Rome and he met a stranger who might have even been an enemy, all he had to do was utter 3 words, civis Romanus sum, which means I am a Roman citizen. He was treated with reverence, respect. He was probably taken into whoever's home it was and fed, maybe even given him his daughters, I don't know, whatever, but that's the way he was treated. And what I want is I want us to come back and I want us to be able to say civis Americus sum. I am an American citizen, and I want to be treated with the respect I used to be treated with back in the 50s when we were growing up, when our parents were growing up. I mean, that's the problem.